Hello and welcome to FPL Mates, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and welcome to the Game Week 23 edition of Asking 100 FPL Experts about their transfer moves and their captain moves. It's going to be an interesting one, hopefully. Firstly, I should first of all apologise if things don't look or sound fantastic. Unfortunately, we're having a lot of renovations done in our house at the moment. The bedroom is the only room that actually has furniture in right now. So, yeah, this is where I have to record. But I promise things will be back to normal from next week. But for now, hopefully this is still a very, very useful video for you guys. We're going to find out all about who people are transferring in, who people are transferring out, and what kind of expert captain picks we're kind of looking at this week. And that is really interesting, actually, guys. The captain picks are insane. They're all over the place. I can't wait to talk about that. So without further ado, guys, if you don't mind liking, subscribing, after that, let's get on with it. So here are our 100 experts that helped me out this week. Thank you so much, guys. I know it's really difficult at the moment to try and give data as to what kind of transfer moves you'll be making at the moment, just because all of the fixtures moving about all this time. It's kind of crazy right now. So I do really appreciate it. Your data is really going to help so many people help make their transfer and captain decisions this week. So yeah, massive shout out to everyone on screen right now. Absolutely amazing of them. So out of our 100 experts, 58 are making one transfer, 12 are making two transfers, just one person out of the 100 is decided to make 3 transfers, and we've also got 5 wild cards this week as well, which is pretty interesting, and 24 are rolling their transfer. Now obviously a lot of this is probably going to change a little bit if we find out about any double game weeks or blank game weeks, fixture cancellations and stuff like that, but this is very much for now. As the fixtures currently stand, this is kind of what people are up to, and the rest of this video is just as long as there's no more fixture cancellations or double game weeks or anything like that. I know that's a very big ask, but this is what we're dealing with right now. So a pretty normal spread of data in terms of what people are kind of up to. Most people opting to just make the one transfer this week, whereas before we were kind of seeing maybe a few more -4s and stuff like that. Maybe this isn't such a week for a -4 as things stand. So this is the part of the video where we look at the most popular transfers among all FPL players. So, you know, all 9 million players. Who are the most popular transfers so far in? Coutinho is massively leading the way here. Really, really popular transfer to bring in this game week. You can see Bowen there. Obviously, he's been on flames recently. De Bruyne is an interesting one. And it's a kind of a load of other players who you may not necessarily expect to see on there. But some players kind of, you know, Jota, Cancelo, Trent, players who are pretty template right now. Obviously, Fernandes has had a really good game week so far as I record this video. I'm recording this before the second Manchester United game. So let's see what he does in the second game. But certainly people were given a lot of confidence from that first performance, perhaps. So yeah, this is how we are looking basically in terms of what the overall FPL player is thinking. But is there any correlation between this and our experts? Are there any players on the general most popular list that are also popular among engaged, you know, real pro FPL players? Well, let me tell you, there is 2 players, Coutinho and De Bruyne. Now, they are, in fairness, 2 players at the top of the list, but to see only 2 players out of the top 12 most transferred in players, only 2 of them are generating significant interest from our experts. That's pretty crazy, right? That means there's a real difference, I guess, between what the casual player is thinking and what the more engaged FPL manager is perhaps thinking right now. But Coutinho and De Bruyne, those are the big ones there, and you know, they're really, really popular among experts as well. So these are going to be the 2 big ones that you see on this list. But there are some players on this list who are kind of a lot of people who play a lot of FPL. You know, they already have these players. A lot of these players are kind of, you know, maybe 1 out of 100 is bringing these players in. But there's also some players that no one's got any interest in, and there's also players as well which are actually being sold. A lot of players are being sold from this list. So, you know, that's pretty crazy, right? So these are the players. So Allan Saint-Maximin, no one's even thinking about him right now out of our 100 experts. Bruno Fernandes is actually being sold by a few people. Same with Gallagher, same with Antonio, and same with Bernardo. So even though these players are really popular, a lot of people are bringing them in, actually, it kind of seems like these are actually really bad picks because they're actually actively being sold by the engaged FPL manager. So make of that what you will. Don't necessarily just follow the general transfer trends. We want to look at what the pros are really thinking in terms of what kind of FPL picks they want to go for. So let's start off by having a look and seeing who our experts are selling this week. So from all the data I gathered today, there's actually not too much correlation. We've got a pretty wide spread of different players. You know, I've only included on this list players who are being sold by 3 or more, because, you know, 3 or more is kind of a pattern is emerging of a lot of people selling the same player. But there was loads of players on the list as well that were kind of only being sold by 1 person or 2 people. Pretty crazy, right? So, but there is a kind of a couple of players who a lot of people are selling. So Son, again, just like last week, he was the most sold player last week. He's also going to be the most sold player this week. A few people still have Son through his injury, kind of have held on to him for some reason. So, you know, maybe now is the time to really get rid of him. If the opportunity to get rid of him wasn't last week, maybe it's this week instead. A lot of people selling Alonso. You've got Rudiger in there and James as well. So I know James is injured, but the Chelsea defenders, a lot of people hopping off them at the moment, and you can kind of understand why. There seems to just be a poison at the Chelsea team right now where they just cannot keep clean sheets. It's really, really frustrating. As you know, we remember the old days of James and Chilwell absolutely smashing it for FPL points. It's just a thing of the past now, and I think we are really thinking about moving those Chelsea defenders on. And also maybe Demarai Gray is kind of interesting there as a player who is being sold, and the rest of them, you know, pretty even spread. I mean, I guess we can have a little look at Bruno Fernandes there being sold, because you probably didn't expect that, but it's all about looking for future points, not dwelling on past points when you're like really trying to hit the top levels of FPL. And I've kind of spoken about this before. You know, if you really want to, you know, get ahead, you don't pick players who have just scored points, and often you'll actually sell players who have just scored points and try and move on to the next big thing. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening with 3 out of our 71 people who are making transfers this week. On to the buys, and this is a much tighter spread. You know, there's actually not that many different players who are being targeted by our FPL experts right now, which makes for a really good, interesting video, really, because we can see a very clear, defined list of 8 players who are super popular players to bring in right now. Coutinho leading the way there. Laporta is there. I don't know, did you guys expect to see him there? Rafinha, Digne, Watkins, De Bruyne, Foden, and Sterling. So there's a little bit of an emphasis on some of those Man City midfielders. A lot of people looking to bring in some Man City midfielders, but also Laporte in defence, you know, targeting these good fixtures that Man City have coming up. Is it time to jump on some more Man City players? Well, 50% of the top 8 players brought in by experts are Man City players, so that's a very good sign that City are a team to target right now. But also we are seeing a couple of Aston Villa players. Maybe that's a little bit to do with the fact that we are expecting Aston Villa to potentially have a double game week, either this game week or soon at least. And for that reason, Coutinho, Digne, Watkins, really popular transfers in. And, you know, even if they don't have double game weeks, they do have really, really good fixtures for the next, next several game weeks. So really good players to target as well. And now Rafinha makes an appearance as well. He's got Newcastle this week. A potential double game week for Rafinha this week as well. Could play Newcastle and Aston Villa. We don't know for sure yet. I don't know. We'll find out, I'm sure, exactly what's going on. Hopefully before the deadline, but really who knows at this point. But there you go. If you are looking for a short list, I guess, of players to bring in for your fantasy team this week, this is the list I would use. These are the players that I would have a look at as players you could potentially bring in and kind of figure out what works best for you out of these 8 players. Let's suggest some direct transfers for you guys. So I think the most obvious thing is, first of all, let's just talk about Son. A lot of people still have Son. If you still have him, then you've got a really obvious player to transfer out. So you could either go direct from Son to KDB, which is quite a nice transfer. You know, get that premium in, get that player ready to potentially swap for Salah in a few game weeks' time, maybe, and just enjoy the next 3 really nice fixtures for Man City and have that nice captain option, a player who's nailed on, a player who's playing really well for Man City. Really, really good there. But, you know, if you can't quite afford to go to KDB, or if you're not really interested, you could go for Coutinho or Rafinha as well. Those are really good options in midfield there. And finally, if you still have Demarai Gray kicking around in your team, maybe Coutinho or Rafinha, maybe you can do an upgrade there. If you have a little bit of money in the bank, for example, maybe that'll be a really nice upgrade to go from Gray to Coutinho or Rafinha, particularly if you don't have Son and you're kind of looking for a way to get in, one of those 2 big players. If you don't want to touch your midfield, you're happy with your midfield, there are some other options as well. Chelsea defenders are really, really popular players to remove from your team right now. I mean, maybe some West Ham defenders you could consider removing as well. They're not too hot in defence right now. But Chelsea defenders, certainly, a lot of us have them. We're probably not too happy with having them. So, you know, ship them out. Laporte, really, really popular, seemingly nailed on in this Man City team. He's, a fairly decent aerial threat, and he's not too expensive either. He's a fairly cheap way to get a nailed on Man City defender there. So really good option actually for these next 3 fixtures, where we kind of expecting the City probably, you know, you're probably keeping 3 clean sheets in a row, so you're going to get some decent points there. But if you do fancy Digne instead, Digne, then fair enough, go for him instead. He looked really, really attacking. We know he's a really good player. How is he going to perform in this Aston Villa team? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Over a slightly larger sample size. But if you want to take a nice early punt on him, particularly if he does get a double game week, then that's going to be a really good pick as well. And finally, a few people are opting to go from Antonio to Watkins. Not really sure how I feel about this one, to be honest, but certainly if Watkins does have some double game weeks coming up, then you know, that's going to be obviously a really nice option for you guys as well. If you are happy to sacrifice Antonio, we know he's been playing a little bit deeper, a little bit wider, maybe not getting in the areas that we want him to get in terms of a striker, right? And finally, guys, we're going to have a look at the captains. I tell you what, since Salah has gone off to AFCON, it has made the captain section of this video so much more interesting, because we are seeing so many weird and wonderful and different kind of players in the mix for captaincy shouts. And you'll notice, guys, as well, that the numbers that you see on the side, you know, 21%, 20%, 10%, 10%. Those don't add up to 100% because there were a lot of differential captains as well. You know, quick mention on some differential captains. You know, some people going for like a Foden or a Bowen, capitalising on Bowen's good form, even though he plays Manchester United, for example. Who else was on there? Jota was on there as well. You know, some other differentials, and then just a bunch of random players as well. But these were the main ones. So, De Bruyne, somehow, I don't know how this happened. That everyone suddenly has De Bruyne in their team already. But De Bruyne is, by and large, the best captain pick for this game week. You know, only just, but he's the most popular captain choice for this game week. And I feel like a lot of the Cancelo owners, if they had De Bruyne, would potentially be going for De Bruyne as well. But this is City dominated. City obviously playing Southampton. We're expecting City to win that game, right? So if you do have De Bruyne, if you do have another Man City attacker, maybe a Foden or a Sterling, those are going to be really, really good captain options for you. If you don't have a Man City attacker and you can't find a way of easily getting one, Cancelo is there as well. Obviously, we know what Cancelo can do, you know, both offensively and defensively in terms of points. So that's really good. And, you know, Ronaldo is there as well as another captain option. We kind of see in the West Ham's defense is kind of not, you know, it's not that good. I know the official FPL website lists West Ham as a red fixture, which I think puts a lot of people off captaining against West Ham, but actually they concede, you know, a few goals every single game seemingly. So yeah, I definitely think that West Ham can be a team to target for sure with our attackers, and Ronaldo is a pretty good attacker, right? I think we all agree with that one. And then Trent Alexander-Arnold is kind of an option there as well against Crystal Palace. I don't know if he's the best option necessarily, but you know, he does provide a option. You know, Crystal Palace is not it's not too much of a difficult fixture really. We expect Liverpool to win. Trent, you know, always really good for points. He's always scoring these 10+ pointer hauls. If you can keep a clean sheet and get an assist, you know you've got a really good score there and a really good captain there. So yeah, those are your captain options. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? I'm kind of wondering who you guys are thinking of captaining this game week, because if you can't get to a Man City attacker, it's kind of a little bit random after that, isn't it? So who knows what people are going to go for, but what I can tell you is there's going to be a real spread. It's going to be one of those game weeks where your captain's really important, because so many people are captaining so many different players. If your one pays off, it could really, really benefit you. That's what I feel like is going to happen, unless of course Aston Villa get a double game week or something like that. And then everyone's going to pivot and start captaining those Aston Villa players. So it's going to be about which Aston Villa player do you have. Are you going to captain a Coutinho? Are you going to captain a Watkins? Are you going to captain a Digne? I don't know. I guess, but until we find out about any double game weeks, there's not really too much we can say on that, to be honest. But there you go. Those are the captains. That is all of the stuff that I have learnt from looking at the data from 100 experts and their plans for game week 23. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like. It really helps out the channel. And of course, subscribe if you're new around here as well. I'm so sorry if this video didn't sound as good or look as good as some of the other videos. The graphics should look fine, but my face and my backdrop probably not looking too hot right now. I'm so sorry. I will get things sorted soon. I mean, I don't really have a choice right now. We're renovating a house. So, but yeah, from next week, I will have a room to record in again. And, you know, things will start looking really good, actually. We're gonna get it looking really good. So, yeah, hopefully you guys can look forward to that one. Team selection video, that's going to be out tomorrow, and that'll be the final video of the game week. Then we'll do a deadline stream on Friday, and that will be that, guys. That will be it. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.